And in an industry accustomed to smooth sailing, cruise lines across the world have been dealing with some pretty rough seas over the past few years.
Now, luckily, things appear to be a little more promising for travelers these days. I caught up with travel guru Peter Greenburg. He joined me from outside a new luxury ship in Lisbon, Portugal, ahead of its maiden voyage.
Well, as you said in your introduction, the last 2 years have been very difficult for the cruise industry. They were stopped, of course, in 2020 by the CDC with a no-sail order. That was followed by a conditional no-sail order, which required the cruise lines to comply with about 75 different protocols, whether for interior design, social distancing, dining, shore excursions, ventilation, you name it. They did that. They actually started cruising last June in a limited way. Now they're back. By this June, about 300 ships will be fully in operation. The ship behind me, which you mentioned, is the latest and newest and most luxurious cruise ship. It's the Silver Dawn. It's the 10th in their fleet. And what's interesting now is what just happened yesterday. I talked about the CDC. Even though they allowed the cruise ships to sail, they still had a level 4 warning for passengers not to do it. Then about 3 weeks ago, they reduced it to a level 2, which is sort of a moderate, be cautionary warning. And yesterday, they reduced it to 0. There are no longer any warnings or restrictions from the CDC for anybody wanting to go on a cruise. So for the cruise industry, that's great news. And if you want to go on the cruise, that's reassuring news.
Right. So with this, do you think there will be an increase in people traveling again in 2022?
There will. It's already started. The cruise ship bookings have been robust. Most cruisers are repeat cruisers, and they have an entitlement issue with their ships. They want to get back out, and if there's a new ship, of course, they want to be first on their block. I'll give you an example about what people are calling pent-up demand. Another cruise line, not Silversea, but another cruise line about 10 days ago put up for sale their 2024 World Cruise. Not their 2023 World Cruise. That's already sold out. They put out their 2024 World Cruise, a cruise itinerary of 180 days and one of the most expensive tickets in the business. The minimum ticket price for a cabin, $47,000 per person, up to $190,000 per person. And get ready for this, the entire cruise sold out in 30 minutes.
Okay, what a change. And what will the rising gas prices mean to the cost of travel?
Well, we haven't reached the tipping point there because it's about the airfares that are killing everybody. Airfares have gone up 40% since the beginning of the year, but in the last couple of weeks, they've gone up 4 times the beginning of the year, simply because of the fuel prices, the situation in Ukraine, and the fact that airlines are cutting capacity. One good example, my airfare 3 weeks ago from Los Angeles to San Francisco was $93 for an airplane ride that only took 38 minutes. Today, it's $357. So for a family of 4, that just went up to a $1,400 ticket. Even if gas gets up to, perish the thought, $8 or $9 a gallon, that's a rise that most families can handle because they've got to divide it by 4. So add about $250 to the cost of their trip by going by car within the United States versus a $1,400 airfare ticket. So we're almost at the tipping point for airline tickets. Domestically, we're nowhere near that yet for jumping in our car.
Okay, interesting. And where can folks go for more information on this, Peter?
Well, go right to my website, which is petergreenburg.com. It's free to join. There's nothing about transactional in it. It's only news and information, so I hope people will check it out.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us. And, of course, head to our website. We've got more on this, and that's firstcoastliving.net.